Warning. Many of these stunts in Jackass are dangerous and people in... What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What have you boys been doing?
Reading warning signs.
Oh my God. Steve.
I still don't know how to read, so...
Steve never ceases to amaze me with the boring shit that he does on an average day.
What are you talking about?
Just not too much. You know what most people say? Not too much. Steve really means it.
Yeah, that's literally all I do.
James, how about you?
Yeah.
Just been watching anime. That's
Oh
playing
my God.
Magic.
Oh my God. You know when people say they're watching anime?
Yeah.
Well, James really means it.
I was gonna say I'm just recently getting into Dragon Ball Super again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I was like just checking to see. Like I don't like watching it until it's like all released.
like until it's all completed
So
out.
I'm just like whatever.
I can watch it sub, so I don't care. So
You little weeb.
I am a weeb.
Gaga kicking out.
I just find I watch enough anime that I just don't care anymore. Like, or normally I'm like so enticed into like I start watching it dubbed because like if I can I will. But
Yeah.
then like if it gets to a certain point where like I can keep watching or wait, I'm gonna keep watching.
Oh. Well, yeah, because I kind of put it off for the longest time too. Because I don't know, I like to watch either subbed or dubbed. Doesn't really matter. But
part are you at?
preferably, I like watching dub.
You know what really interests me about this is that there are like two factions of people, and like you're I guess a third middle faction.
Yeah.
But, like there are some people who are like, don't talk to me if you listen to dubbed,
Yeah.
and then there are like some people.
Well, I
who
think
are, like,
old dubs are bad. Like back in the '90s, like it was like not even close. But like nowadays, like dubs are actually made pretty good.
yeah.
What's
But like it's still, at least for me, because like they weren't going to show subbed content on like a children's television networking in you know North America, right? So like for me, a lot of these shows only stay with me today because of the dubbed versions.
Yeah.
Because of the voices, because of like the story, because of whatever. Even if it was a different story, like that's what I remember, right? And so when I go back and watch them now as an adult, I want the nostalgia. Like when I listen to Dragon Ball subbed or
Dubbed.
subbed. If I listen to it subbed, it just totally cannot maintain interest in the show whatsoever. But when I listen to the dubbed version, I'll watch the whole 168 episodes like in 2 days.
Truth. I don't know why, but I always have that Rock the Dragon song stuck in my head.
I hate it. You know what? Actually,
love it.
you know what's kind of funny? So I have copies of this.
Yeah.
I ripped them from the DVDs that I have.
Okay.
And when I exported them to a file that works in iTunes, I purposely cut off like the first minute and like 32 seconds because like on the DVD, it gives you like the long version, like the remastered edition.
Yeah.
It gives you the long version of that intro. And there's no way I can listen to that damn song every 20 minutes.
Is it like the morning, like the first second you just hear that dragon screech and then it kicks off into like this?
Yeah. Oh man, it's terrible. I hate that. I hate that.
That's kind of how I'm getting with the Dragon Ball Super, basically. It's like the ending sequence,
man,
then it's
so
like
annoying.
the morning. I'm just like, my God, like.
Especially if you're binging episodes.
What part of Dragon Ball Super are you at?
I'm now at the part. I'm like on episode 68 or so, and that's basically when they're kind of.
You're almost at.
Is that the Goku
episode
Black
69?
arc?
Yeah, Goku Black and like the Supreme Kai issue thing that's happening.
That's a good arc. I like that arc.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It seems really good. Like because I think it's gonna lead up to like the whole like universe like world tournament type situation.
Tournament
it's like
power.
Yeah, tournament power. Where it's like all like was it 12 universes?
Yes.
They're all like
only 8 are fighting or 6.
So it's something like that, but yeah. And yeah, because I was talking to Shane about that because I think he left off when it was only like the universe.
No, it was like
67.
130, 100.
There's 131 episodes.
Yeah, well,
or no, it was 110 then.
Got
109,
60
110.
left,
Like the arc right before the last arc, I guess.
Okay.
No, you probably I think you were at 70 last time.
No, I definitely watched up to about 110.
Ah.
I downloaded more, watched a bunch more. I was getting real
So
into
you were
it.
at the tournament power then.
Yeah, but it was like right when they ran out of subbed episodes, I stopped watching. Or dubbed episodes.
Yeah, because it took them a while. I think it took them like
I just
what,
like wait.
a year,
I
2
can't
years?
watch things in things.
Yeah, the
like
last
small
few
bursts.
episodes are very pretty.
Ooh.
Oh really?
Yeah, like they're very well like sketched.
Actually,
Ooh.
let me ask you a quick question, Shane. Because you were just kind of talking about that where you were saying like you don't like the wait between, let's say, like for them to release the episodes. This whole new like let's say Disney Plus thing that's coming out, they're a little bit different of what Netflix does with say with like a series. where Netflix just releases everything all at once, so you can binge watch whenever you please. But I heard with like Disney Plus, they're actually going to be releasing things in increments of weeks, like
they do that on Netflix too.
Do they do that on Netflix?
Yeah,
just for
some
shows. Like CW shows and stuff
really?
like that.
I didn't know that. I thought that was like exclusive.
I wouldn't mind, but
Yeah.
after it's released, right? Like, in this case, still, I would probably wait like
until
3
like
months
it's completed.
For me, like I watch it the day of. Like for example, like every Saturday I watch One Piece at like 9:00.
Oh, just kind of space it out a little bit.
my
No, I didn't know One Piece comes out at like 8, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch it at like 9.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say just give yourself a little piece of the little teaser. Every now
wow,
and
we
then.
should change the name to Weeboo Hangout or what is it?
That'd be a great time.
Anyways,
We can talk about One Piece.
But it's so funny though.
whoa. Welcome to another episode of Hotline Hangout. My name is Shane, and today I'm joined by Stephen Murphy.
Stephen Murphy here.
Oh my god. And I'm also joined by my fellow cohort, my compadre, Jimmy James.
Ooh, I gotta upgrade this time.
We got an upgrade. Oh man, I should start writing things down. Like that's my job during the week is to like come up with different names for you guys.
You're like, where can I get it?
And start speaking in like different languages and stuff. We're also joined by Ahmed with a sticker on his head.
Welcome back.
Where did you get that sticker from? What does it say?
My little lube
I'm pretty
fish.
sure it says, I love Hotline Hangout. We also have Marielle in the background. She specifically didn't want to be mentioned, but I'm not cutting this out. Woo!
So anything new with you, Shane or Steve?
Didn't we already talk about this?
Yeah, we talked about this already, James. God, what
Let's
the
cut
hell
right
were
into the
you-
first story then.
Let's cut.
So, oh man, I love this one. So, Instagram influencer, basically, she got into like a motorcycle. Is that a motorcycle? Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
a
a motorcycle.
motorcycle,
She
yeah.
got into a motorcycle accident,
Yes, sir.
and
influences.
then they
defensive
took
decision
photos of
maps.
it, and they're like, no, it wasn't staged. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, right. Like, I get if you have a nice camera
Yeah.
and like whatever, but you know, this was totally not staged. Like, these are artsy photos. Like, if she was really sitting there crying, then like the photographer is like the least sensitive person in the entire universe.
Yeah.
And they totally ran out and placed things.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like,
just, I don't know, because it's like
come
looking through them
on.
too. What's this female's name? I love when they use the term influencer. It's just I was like, man, like you have nothing better to do. You just play on Twitter and was it Instagram?
Also, like, these marks are totally not real. Like, if you fell off a motorcycle, like, what the hell's on her, like, forearm?
Yeah. So coming out of Nashville.
How did you
apparently.
get hit in your forearm and in your shoulder on the opposite arm with no blood, but just that shit? Like, they rubbed dirt all over her.
Yeah.
She looks like she's about to, like, give birth.
So based out
I
of
don't know.
Nashville,
What?
Tiffany Mitchell with the over of 211,000 followers on Instagram. Basically, a lot of people are just calling all her shit, just saying like, you're lying. These pictures definitely look way too staged. Like they do look like glamour shots, basically. Like that is a sweet camera though that they are shooting with.
Well, they got, like, you can tell too, kind of, because like the bokeh is definitely not normal.
Yeah.
But they're probably using like the tilt shift in Instagram to like make things weird.
Yeah.
Or they could have like end light or something. Like they're using something to edit this and like make it more dramatic than it is.
Yeah.
But like, come on, like, and you know what? In the one picture here, like, dude, she just fall off the damn motorcycle. Like, it looks like it's fine.
Well, cause like it's I don't know if she just like fell off of it just trying to like stand up. Cause like look what she's wearing. Like she's wearing like overalls with like a t-shirt. If it actually was like a moving at the slightest speed of like 20 kilometers or like 20 miles per hour, you're gonna at least get some like road rash. You can get some like
There's
scrapes and everything.
Oh yeah, especially like if you look at
And the clarities of the picture, like you can't see this.
For
at
me,
all.
my favorite is the two water balls that are perfectly that you see the brand
Oh,
of the
for
water
that.
bottle.
And you look at the hashtag. You know how like when you're
hashtag
like
smart water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know how
Hashtag
you have to
Hotline
actually
Hangout.
notify your ads now if you're trying to make money off of it. You just see like the first like line. It's like hashtag smart water. Hashtag.
You know, one thing that
The motorcycle looked perfectly fine too.
Well, I just looked in it.
Yeah.
There were two motorcycles. They're both driving motorcycles, and she fell off.
Yeah.
So whatever. But like, one thing I noticed here too is like there's no like Okay, so I'm not a forensics person.
Yeah.
But I have watched a lot of CSI.
Watch
And like, there's no velocity on this cut, man. It looks like she fucking like fell and like dipped her shoulder in some mud and then like laid out pretty for it.
Like I hear
like, there's no velocity. Like
yeah, like I hear what you're saying basically, where it's not so much like it's like smudged or scraped. It's just like literally someone just like scooped it up and just like plotted.
Oh my god, maybe none of these people have ever fallen off a bike before and just don't know. They think they were fooling people. They didn't even research it. I love the comment here too. It's like, I'm so sore, blah blah blah. I was so nervous. Oh wait. That wasn't the one I meant to read. It's like, it was so unreal. I was scared and relieved and so thankful I could move all my joints that I never lost consciousness. My friends were at my side immediately. An ambulance arrived within 10 minutes. Like, bitch, no, they didn't. There was a photographer, like, moving shit around, making everything look pretty.
It's so funny. If you actually look at, like, her overalls and everything, too, like, she has, like, no dirt trace or anything on, like, her, like, legs, thighs, pants, or anything. It's literally just on, like, the point of view of, like, the camera is, like, capturing, like, on her shoulder. And just, like, you know, that's it. There's, like, nothing on her face. There's nothing on her neck. It's just, like, on, like, one part of her shoulder and just kind of, like, on her undershirt somehow. But like nothing else is like scraped or touched up or anything.
Mm-hmm. She probably went out and had like a nice dinner that night. And like, fuck.
It's like that. Oh, this would be a good idea to draw some attention to myself.
Mm-hmm. And smart water. Wait, like, what was that water bottle? That is a cool water bottle. Yeah, it's like a normal water bottle with stickers on it.
It's just like one of those aluminum ones.
Make sure you keep hydrated. Oh man,
it's still
it's so annoying. Whatever. I guess at the end of the day, what I gather from this is that I don't care.
Yeah, well, because like with the whole base of like Instagram too, it's legitimately that's it. It's just like these people, like more or less, like 90% of them are all fictitious, and like there's like a whole thing too where you can go to like to airport station, you can rent out one of like their private jets just so you can take your Instagram pictures and stuff like that. So.
You know what I just kind of thought of too? Like you have like the millennial generation, and then the next generation should be the influencer generation. Because they're all fucking influencers, and it makes me mad. Probably just how the next generation makes me gets mad when they hear millennial, right?
Oh, yeah,
whenever I hear influencer, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, it's just like
get off, get over it. Nobody cares, whatever. But speaking of Instagram influencers. We got another one.
Go to Hotline Hangout for the
sickest Instagram influencers.
While you're talking about that, you might as well visit us at Hotline Hangout Podcast.
We should get influencers.
Yeah, that's the whole premise of this podcast is once we hit that peak of 1,000, then we can sell out.
That's what Ahmed G's doing over there. He's working. He's working on it. Anyways, the Instagram influencer who... Oh wait, did they say she was an Instagram? Yeah. It's an Instagram. Maybe not an influencer though, because like she could have got this shit for free.
She's not on the level as the last girl that we're talking about, Tiffany.
Oh,
but Tiffany. She has. I think
such
she has
an Instagram.
Couple of thousand followers, like whatever. But her little dead ass was like caught in California. Did they give her name out at all in the article? California woman is what they're. Oh yeah, Kate Lamuth. Yeah, 23-year-old. Basically, what she's doing was, I guess, what that Juul
stealing.
Is that like a vape? Like
it's a small little vape. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a USB stick, but a little bit bigger, and
I think
you can
like a cigarette.
smoke out of it.
Like a cigarette.
Yeah.
No. It looks like a USB. It actually charges based on a USB.
No, I know what Juul is, but it's almost the size of a cigarette. Probably like a flat.
Oh yeah, it's the length of a cigarette, but the exact dimensions of a USB stick.
So this little dead ass decides to kind of steal this from a gas station.
It only costs $42.
Yeah, it's like next to nothing. So she just decided to kind of try and pocket it and just like walk away with it. And like her little dead ass didn't even have kind of like a concept of a ride to get out of there, whether it's just like walk or leave the area. She sat around, waited. She called an Uber and she also called like a Lyft.
Well, no. So she called a Lyft first.
Yeah.
And the Lyft got there, and the guy came out from the gas station, and the Lyft driver was like, "No, I'm not taking you anywhere." And then he left, and then she called an Uber, and the Uber came and picked her up.
Oh,
that's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, the Uber came and picked her up though. Like she couldn't get a thing because people didn't want to be like the getaway driver. Mm-hmm. Oh well.
But so even with that being said, apparently the cops were able to kind of trail her and find out where she went. Ended up arresting her too for for retail theft, and she had to pay like $150 bond. But It's so funny too, just because like I don't know, like was she just like crying? Because like look at her mugshot, like she has a bunch of just like redness around her face and everything too. Is it just kind of just like a publicity stunt to try and increase that following?
Juul sales, $150 bond though. Like, would you?
That's like next.
I don't know,
nothing,
man.
though.
I don't think I'd like get a criminal record for something.
Something so stupid.
Yeah, it was a prank.
Yeah.
Here's the $50.
I was gonna say like let's be honest.
Unless
here.
this is all just a part of the advertising and there was no arrest.
Yeah, I was gonna say like let's. Well, she has mugshots and everything too. Like,
well, yeah, but mugshots. So you got an orange shirt in a gray background. Very easy to recreate.
Okay. I don't know.
Look at that bottom picture though. She looks like, very goody two shoes kind of like whatever Instagram traveler. Typical.
I tell you, that's how they get you.
Yeah, but yeah, then she just goes off and ruins her life. Yeah, criminal record. I don't know. They'll probably like get it expunged or something like that.
Well, if
probably go away after a while.
If this is drawing like the popularity and like interest of people, obviously she's gonna like her fandom will grow a little bit too, especially like her.
Yeah, imagine how many people can relate to her. Like, oh, I wish I had a Juul too. I would steal one.
She's fairly attractive and everything too, so like she should be doing fine on her own anyways, as long as she's showing a little bit more skin on like her Instagram. Like, isn't that what the whole thing is about? It's just like you show like a little bit more skin and the more followers you get.
To some extent, depends what you want to do with your.
Not
Instagram,
if you're James. Please don't show more skin. Already seen enough.
Oh no, you haven't. I'll show you a lot more.
You need to cover up. Oh man, we've already got nudity on this show. You're showing us off your nipples.
It's so funny
shit.
too, because it's like reading through the articles and stuff like that. Like you guys are obviously aware of what TikTok is, right? That app.
Yes.
No, what is TikTok?
It's an application based.
Oh my god, I'm just kidding, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So, anyways, the TikTok.
Can't hear the sarcasm.
Yeah. So the TikTok app or whatever. It's like a lot of people are just being like little shit disturbers now, just because they want to grow in their popularity, and so they're doing a little bit more stupid things where they're being a little bit more rambunctious, where they're messing with people. Like this one I saw coming out of like India. This guy, he went to go pay for like I don't know, some sort of candy bar or whatnot. And he threw like the money, like whatever it costs, like I don't know, let's say for a sanctity of like a $20 bill at the guy. The guy just like looked at him. He's like, wow, like what a shithead. And then he was just like, give him my change. And so like the retailer guy just like threw like whatever his change was back at him. And it was just like a couple of bills, and it just like floated on the ground. So the other guy was like still standing at him, and he reached over and he like grabbed like a soda, and he's just like, ring it up. And then he just like walked away. He's like, give me the money. He's like, oh, it's on the ground. And he just like walks away. And I was just like, seriously, like wow. These applications are creating little shitheads.
I think that a lot of them are like planned out though, right?
They could be staged too, but just kind of like watching that, like that's my first impression. It's just like someone needs to, and there's like just a bystander.
Someone needs
just
to
like,
smack these kids.
Yeah, just like a bystander, just like watching this go down too. Like, I would just like slap the shit out of that kid. I don't know. It just irritates me when people be stupid.
What'd you just do?
Leave that succulent alone.
You just like can't stop touching the succulent. Oh my god. Anyways, speaking of getting boned by I don't know. I can't.
Speaking of succulent, let's talk about.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What did they say? Putting the bone in. Well, you know what? It's boner, by the way.
Oh my
How do you spell that?
It's so funny. I just happened to catch this article coming from the New York Post. After a man was injured, he had a pelvic injury. I'm not sure if it was like a fall.
This was caused by an injury?
Yeah, this was caused by an injury. This happens all the time. He had a pelvic injury, basically. I don't know if he just broke his hip or not. 63-year-old male. Ended up hurting his pelvis and everything. And what happens here is like the calcium kind of like leaked out, and somehow it was able to kind of go in his penis area, and so it start calcifying his actual penis. So he start growing bone inside of his junk.
I could just see like Exhibit popping out here and just be like, "Hey, I heard you like bone in your boner."
Yeah, like it's.
So I got you some. I don't know how the rest of that goes.
So they're like talking about it too. There's like it's an extensive plaque-like calcification that happened to develop into the groin area of the gentleman. I'm not sure about like operation or if there's anything they could kind of really do for it, just because
I wonder if he can like pee okay. I imagine like that might cause problems.
It depends
Well,
on like if
it'd
it's
probably
actually
be like a little bit
restricting.
harder to aim because like you guys ever try to pee without like full directional control or whatever. Yeah,
Directional control.
If it's pushing out in one direction, it doesn't want to go where you move.
I wonder if it's like more sensitive or anything like that too.
Oh, James wants to play with this guy's dick so bad. Is it more sensitive?
Can I just see it? Yeah,
just
apparently
put it in
like
my
there's a
mouth a little
disease
bit?
called Peyronie disease. Basically, that's when the actual calcification.
Wait, is this something that happens like after an injury? Like, is this something that could happen to anybody?
Yeah, it basically
no.
it can happen to
no.
anyone depending on
test it
specific
out?
injury. Because what happens here is just that your body doesn't know how to react with such like damage and degrees of things. So in this case, when he cracks open his pelvis, because you have your cells like your actual.
Can he pee around
blood cells.
corners?
I don't think it's like arched or anything. I think it's still kind of just like in its normal phallic shape itself. But it is paining. So it is painful. Like he says, like he feels like discomfort and stretching happening. So as far as let's say kind of like decalcifying that, like I'm sure there's probably like treatments and operations that he can necessarily do, but it's definitely going to be a little painful is what they're necessarily stating. But man, like, can you imagine? That would just suck.
I forget what the disease is called, but like I think like the scariest disease I ever heard of was pretty much like your whole body becomes bone. So once you turn around like 30, like you eventually
Bone man.
So you have a choice of like either like sitting down when like you turn to bone or like laying down. And some people are like, oh, like sitting down is just easier than going bathroom and stuff, but like laying down is like you're laying down all the time.
Yeah.
That would be like such a weird thing. Like you're like, oh, what? Like while you're going up, like, oh, your whole body turns to bone, and there's nothing you can do about it. So like, how do you want to like lay? Like, do you want to lay dying, or do you want to like sit down dying?
Yeah, because I think I remember that terminology. It's like called like FOP or something like that. It's like I can't even remember. It's like I definitely understand what that, because it's what happens here is just like your soft tissue necessarily gets calcified, and it just literally over time just turns into bone itself. Like you should see like the actual pictures of like I guess like the x-rays and everything too. Like you kind of like see it just looks messed up.
Yeah, just Google it. Calcified boner. Oh man.
Well, this guy has a bunch of x-rays and everything too. Like they have it posted on the actual New York Post, which of course
you
is gonna be
can't
in the
see
description.
too much.
Well, you could see like
it could
the
just be
fallacy.
like the just like a smart way to get some like a bunch of people. What is this? New York Post. This is a smart way to get a bunch of people to look at your dick. I don't know.
Just like what was that thing back in like the early like 2000s?
You know what's
like
great? You can
the
see everything
goatsy
in there.
situation. You remember how you know what goatsy is, right? It's just
I did not know that's what a hip looked like.
what? Like a pelvis?
Yeah, well, like the bottom part. I didn't know that it was like it. Oh, hang on, let me go back up here.
Yeah,
I didn't know that it kind of had like.
Yeah, it has those. They're called like faunas, basically. Those little openings.
Ooh. You know what? Okay, so I don't know if you guys see it, but this is what I'm seeing here.
Mhm.
So the like the hip, kind of like the pelvic one.
Yep.
It kind of looks like two babies with their heads getting sucked into a spine. Do you see that, or is it just me?
I think that's. Oh no, I do see it.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's funny. Okay, I can see what you're saying, but no, yeah, that's a normal size pelvis for male.
Was it a normal sized penis, Steve? Can you tell us? Is it a grower or a shower?
You can definitely tell it's a shower.
Yep. That's
Definitely a shower. Definitely a shower.
Yeah, that's what I think about that.
Especially, yeah. I love the opener here. It's putting the bone in. Well, like, come on, these guys like
Classy.
make a good joke.
Classy.
You know who made the best dick jokes? Double Dick Dude. You ever read through that
I was just
subreddit?
actually going to bring that up.
Yeah.
The, double phallic gentleman, where people are like, give me proof and everything too. Because was it on Reddit? You said.
Oh yeah, it was like an AMA on Reddit.
I don't remember, because you know how people kind of normally post their tags just to show you that this is real, this is all me. He had like his username, whatever, with like the date and everything assigned to it, plus like his like double header.
Double header.
Yeah,
is that what you're gonna call it?
The double.
He had the
header.
best jokes, man. Like people were asking questions.
Yeah,
and he was just like going off like I think my favorite part of his AMA was when he was talking about how the worst part of having a double dick is when the thing happens where like 2 streams come out. That happens to him double time, so he's got like 4. Imagine trying to maintain that, man. Like it's hard enough as is, and then imagine double.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? Remember those back in the days where you can get like the super soakers with like an actual jet nozzle, and then like you kind of like pump it up and like it comes out in like a force spray. It's supposed to like do like this twist, but sometimes it just kind of like it's off directional, so it's like shooting like 4 different angles.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's a recipe for bad times.
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
You would literally have to like urinate
that?
In the shower. That's the only way.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's all pipes.
Yeah. Anyways, man, we always fucking talk about dicks on this show.
You always bring them up.
You sent me this story.
You're like, we got it. This is what's gonna get
There's
us.
literally an X-ray of a penis. What did we talk about the last time? The fucking chocolate dick.
Oh yeah, the chocolate penis.
Oh boy,
that was with Mr. Shelter.
Steve has a little bit of an issue with.
Like, was that a little bit of a Floridian slip?
Floridian slip. Oh, well, we do have lots of Florida stories as well.
Yeah, well, that's the majority where like most of our stories. It's either that or like Texas.
Yeah, I feel like our thing should be like the Florida Hotline Hangout.
Oh yeah, hashtag Texas man or Florida man.
Oh my god, wait, is there a Texas man?
I don't know.
Hey, you know what's funny about Florida man? Have you ever Googled Florida woman?
There's a Florida woman.
There is a Florida woman.
That's hilarious.
And that bitch is crazy as hell.
Just as the equivalent.
Yeah, Florida woman. Oh man, she does some wild things with manatees.
My favorite is like when you type like your birthday and then type Florida man and see what happened that day.
Oh yeah, see what happened on your birthday. Was that like a whole like trend too that was happening? Like I don't even remember because I think I tried it once, but like nothing of interest really kind of popped up.
Yeah, you're just so old. The internet wasn't alive back then.
Oh, you'd be quiet.
Was Florida even a state back then when you were during that time?
They were still working it out. Still getting settled. Yeah.
Wait, what was the next one? Oh man, yeah, I'm done talking about penis.
Chappelle show.
Oh boy.
Chappelle show.
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
The Chappelle Show's specials, I always think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I think this one is so much better.
I think they were freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't stand it.
I always think they're funny. Like, I haven't watched this one because I just heard it was bad, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but
no,
literally
watch
the people who said it was bad, the people who said it was bad just like are critics. Like they're not actual people who like you'd care. Like I find like man, I don't even know what critics offer nowadays. Like whenever I look at like tech reviews, for example, right? I don't care what critics say. I want like either like professional like tech reviewers on like YouTube who like their content is their product, right? Like that's what they're selling you. And like, sometimes like they do a very good job at like being like not putting their own opinion into it and stuff. Like Linus Tech Tips I think is really good for that. And he does really good tech reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Linus Tech,
yeah, like I don't know if I'd call him a critic as much as I'd call him like a tech reviewer, right? But like movie critics, I don't think that they share like the same values as like regular people who are going to watch movies or people who are going to go watch a show. Mm-hmm. Like when you read a review, what are they trying to critique here? Like what are they critiquing for like the normal person to like use their judgment as an example of what they should do?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like kind of like the philosophy of like, let's say like film or whatnot, where they have their own little breakdown of like a rubric to so to speak to kind of like view and did they hit this point? Did they talk about this? Is it easy for it to follow along?
That's like ratings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Those are different. Like a critic will walk in and say, oh, like, all this stuff about this was bad. It's blah, 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 or whatever. But like, meanwhile, Dave Chappelle is like hitting a vein here with like, very insensitive, like humor. And
well, because
it's funny, like, man. He's like hilarious.
The thing that's kind of really like more or less abstract about him is just like the type of humor that he has. He definitely goes way beyond what's the appropriate norms, which, a lot of people are scared to kind of bring up because, a majority of people, like, they don't have that big of a platform that Dave Chappelle has because he can say, in a sense, whatever he wants, but it's so much of he won't get that big of a backlash or repercussion because, he's a comedian, B, like, he's not really doing anything too critically, like, offensive. like he has his off jokes and everything too, but it's not to the point of just like making like a militia or making like
I think he's
demographic of people that hate individuals. I think that's kind of weird.
I think he's kind of like taken hold of the like uncomfortable comedy too, because like Anthony Bourdain is like a beloved person to many people. Papa Tony, like he feels like almost like family, like a famous uncle that doesn't care about you. But that's kind of what that's Anthony Bourdain, right? He's really close in a lot of people's homes. And Chappelle opened up his special by just being like totally insensitive about like depression and suicide and stuff. And he's like, the guy had the best job in the world and he killed himself. And it's like, ooh, it's like really uncomfortable, but like, that's what people laugh at. I don't think that's terrible. I think it's good to make humor out of things that are uncomfortable because, that's how you get over things. I don't know if people should get over being comfortable with these kind of things, but whatever. I get it. I get what he was doing. I don't think it was bad.
Yeah. It's so funny too, just because I think you were telling me about like the actual Rotten Tomato critics reviews where it's just like, well, the critics may not have cared for like Sticks and Stones. Viewers gave 99% audit score or rating or whatever they do for RottenTomatoes.com. And what did you say? You got like a 0 or something like that now?
Or wait.
For critic review?
I think critic reviews are like 0.
Yeah, and then it got like next to perfect ratings for actual like people, just the normal Joe, basically.
It almost seems like a little bit of the Barbra Streisand effect, where people like saw that there was like bad reviews basically for his special, and then so they went on and like artificially boosted the performance of it or whatever. And like maybe not bad, like I'm sure a ton of people like this or whatever, but like people were just like, oh wow, his review has like a 0 online. Like even just hearing that, like it would make me think like, oh, I like Chappelle, I like that special, I'm gonna go give it a 10 out of 10 or whatever.
But man, Netflix paid him $60 million in 2016 for 5 stand-up specials. How much has he produced so far? 3 of them?
That's not bad.
That's
Do you remember that
incredible.
Comedy Network? After season 3, they offered him $50 million to like continue with a new season. He turned it down.
And that was like a big like, oh my god, like. But I guess at that point in time too, like $50 million was
for Chappelle show. Yeah, especially
for something that what would you say like lasts for 3 seasons? Like that's incredible. Like, and then he just kind of went on this whole like hiatus just because like with all the backlash and repercussions and everything that he was getting at the time. Like, did he actually really kind of state why he just got sick of it or something like that? Like,
I know he moved back to Africa. Like,
yeah, because he went back, I guess, like to find his roots or whatever he was saying, and then like he just kind of got sick of
just chilling.
All of that, and he was just like, whatever, I want to just do my own thing for a while and just be left alone. And then when he came back, is that when he met his wife, or did he already have a wife?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he had like a family and kids and stuff.
Okay,
because like I remember in an interview a long time ago, he was talking about like how he hated the like being in public after the Chappelle show.
Yeah,
because like kids would come up to him at Disney, and like he wants his kids to respect him, and like he wants to be a respected person. But he had like people coming up to him saying like, "I'm Rick James."
Oh, I'm Rick James. Yeah,
and just like doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, and he made jokes about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, man," and like just like move on. But
well, yeah, because even I guess with this like Sticks and Stones stand up itself, because the amount of like. Has like the was it the LGBTQ community? Did they like raise their voice or anything like that just yet? Because like
there's no Q.
I haven't.
No, there's a Q. Yeah,
you know what Q is? Oh, even the dog is disappointed.
Yeah, he's just like James. Come on, man.
What could Q possibly stand for in
old
LGBT?
English? It refers to weird.
I only ever know as LGBT.
Do you only know any words that start with Q?
Quiznos.
That's
it's
good enough.
Almost like Queen.
So, anyways, yeah, like because the amount of jokes that he necessarily made towards that demographic specifically, I don't want to say like it got way out of hand itself, but in retrospect, like I guess like he was just talking about like how you have all these other, I guess like demographics itself, kind of making it harder for one another. And so they kind of just like united and formed, but yet they still have their own little pet peeves towards each other. And like, I don't know, he just kind of put it in like a little bit of perspective. And after from there, it's just like this big backlash. And like, I guess like he was like, oh, he's transphobic. He's, whatever.
I don't know. I don't really like have any context into that. But I don't know. I think that comedians make jokes about things. And
Yeah, like it's
pretty much nothing is off.
That's exactly it. Like
for the most
you're
part.
a comedian, so you got to take, in a sense, I don't want to say like take it with like a grain of salt. It's just that's what they're there. They're there to sometimes be risky, lay down these specific provocative jokes for a laugh, whatever kind of makes the crowd question or laugh. They're not there to make a political statement. I'm sure there's some that try to work that through, but most of them, like if that's like the whole set, like it has a tendency of just like failing right off the bat. If they're actually heartbeated about it and actually have something to offer.
Yeah,
and, like,
Chappelle's always been into like controversial issues,
Yeah.
though. Like he always goes in there. And then also I just checked the Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 25% right now for the critics, but I think it went up after
after the little
the things there or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, that's 25% from critics. Like it just if the people are rating it 99%, the critics are rating it 25%.
Yeah.
I think that says the most about the critics is that they're just out of touch. Like get lost, go away. Like nobody cares. But yeah, I think that everybody just needs to stop being so sensitive.
Yeah.
Offense is not taken, or offense is not given, it is taken. Gratuitously cruel. I don't see it, man. Like
Yeah,
I think that he was just like trying to step on people's uncomfortables. Where?
Like, because
it
it was even funny
article.
too, just like one of his opening statements too, of just like his mockery and everything too, that he was like laying down, how he's doing like his impressions and stuff like that. And that he was just like, making fun of literally the audience that was like watching him. He's like, I'm you. Like, he's like, oh, why is this guy doing this? Why does he say this? How come he's doing this? Like, he's just like questioning everything that he's doing, and more or less like in a mimicry, mockery tone. And after he's like, I'm you dumbasses. Like, I thought that was like the funniest bit that he had.
Yeah. So the article that we're looking at is from CNBC. And it specifically says representative for Netflix could not be commented or reach for comment. And then like lower, it kind of goes into like, oh, like what if like they're going to cancel their partnership with Dave Chappelle? And it's like, no, like Netflix does stuff like this. And like, I'm sure they had like a preview of the routine or whatever. Like, I'm sure Netflix paying him, they have some kind of creative control over what he can and can't say. And I'm sure they were fine with all of it. It's a comedy special. I don't know. It's kind of what I like about Netflix sometimes is like, they're just Netflix, right? Like they just do Netflix things. And like as a company, they seem like to have like pretty cohesive values as to like what they want and like what they want to do with their platform.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like, I wonder if that's actually going to change them or not, or it's like going to be like a make or break situation. Because with, let's say, the next year itself that's happening with all these other like 13 different platforms that's coming out, I wonder if they're going to be a little bit more edgier with like the type of content that they can necessarily release. Like,
well, they need to create interesting content, and they're really doing that. What did I just watch? Mindhunter. It's a really good show.
Mindhunter. Oh, yeah. I was actually just watching that. I think it was like a documentary. The one I think you were talking about, diagnostics.
Oh, Diagnosis.
Diagnosis.
Yeah, the crowdsourced thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a Netflix original. They call everything Netflix original, but it really depends on like what country you're in.
Yeah, if it was made on the bracket or platform, they're going to call it an original. But ideally, it's not an original idea or concept. It's just they're producing it, so it's going to be a Netflix original. That's the whole, I guess, premise of it.
Yep.
Thank you for that, James.
You're welcome.
Thank you. James chimed in. Oh, he should have watched the special.
Oh, yeah, we should probably just sit you down, then we could do a live stream with James just watching it, give his feedback.
At the end of the article, too, it says, people are allowed to think something sucks, which is true. But, like, when you're a critic on Rotten Tomatoes, like, apparently, like, one of the most trusted sites for media reviews.
Yeah.
It's like, like, you're allowed to have that opinion, but, this is the opinion that you're setting for, like, other people. Right. And like, if you're wrong, it's cool that they have the audience score, though.
Yeah.
30,000 people almost gave it 99% and 12 people gave it 25%. Like, come on. That's kind of, it's like, okay, well, you can have your hoity toity opinion, but, the masses have spoken.
That's funny. Does like IMDb do any like score ratings on this at all?
Oh, I think it does.
Let's see. Sticks and Stones, Dave Chappelle. Let's see what it actually gave him. Yeah, it got 8.5 out of 10. On IMDb.
Really?
Yeah, and that's Oh, is that the critics review? Yeah, that's a critics review.
Oh, really? Well, they
And-
probably learned their lessons. They were like, "Oh, we're staying way
Oh
behind."
no,
on this
sorry,
shit.
yeah, 8.6. Yeah, 8.6 out of 10, and that's pretty much like 11,000 votes.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. Oh, whatever.
And like I always thought like Rotten Tomatoes was kind of like I didn't actually ever take it like a serious type of like critic review. Like I heard of the name just because it's been around for so long. I just thought it was something like I don't know if anyone ever really pays a tribute or like homage to it. Like I don't know if it's just like people are looking through the newspaper articles like, oh, what did Rotten Tomatoes give us?
Why
Like,
would
it's-
they look
it's-
through a
it's-
newspaper
I don't
to
know.
get
Well,
Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm just saying, like, you know how like back in like like the 40s and stuff like that, when plays, musicals, and stuff like that came out and just kind of go through
It
the
was
actual
word of
review
mouth
stuff.
and advertising.
Yeah,
You
but-
didn't hear on a newspaper.
But I'm just saying,
from
like,
friends.
it's not going to affect or kind of like break the situation. Like, I
Oh
don't know.
no. If anything, it created a thing like a loud voice for it. Because like when you take somebody like Dave Chappelle
Yeah.
and you give him a 0 on doing what he does best,
Yeah,
like people are going to notice and make issue with it. Which is whatever.
yeah.
Anyways, it's been nice chatting with you boys.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Sensei.
Man, I am so hungry.
What is it called?
I am so hungry.
This has been another episode of Hotline Hangout. Stevie, why don't you hit us with them plugs?
Hey, thank you. You can definitely follow us on Twitter. You can hit us up on Hotline Hangout, followed by our Instagram handle at Hotline Hangout Podcast. Should you want to follow us on YouTube and subscribe, give us a look-ski there at Hotline Hangout on YouTube. And should you ever want to reach out to us, where can they find us?
Rate us on iTunes.
Ooh, you could do that as well.
Oh, Gmail, hotlinehangout@gmail.com.
There you go.
James, do you have anything to say?
Bye, Shane, your grandma.
Oh my god. She's going to wash her mouth out with soap, dude.
We didn't really talk this episode, so it's okay.
She did. Yeah, he did. He was talking on his phone. He's texting girls.
Yeah. Hey.
We're going to share those text messages with the audience.
It just pops up every time it shows you pictures.